Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, The Real Super Sam. About 5.5 years ago, I started this series called Forgotten Spider-Man Rogues. Today is the 100th episode of the series on the Sunday before Halloween. I really hope you enjoy. For this amazing video, I'm going to talk all about a forgotten rogue I grew up with thanks to my local library. His name is the Gentleman, aka Gustav Fiers, a foe who first premiered outside of comics in a trilogy of novels. He is one of the few Spider-Man villains, maybe the only one, definitely the greatest one, who has been entwined in Peter Parker's whole life. Now, his story secretly started back in the comic Amazing Spider-Man Annual 5, The Parents of Peter Parker, where Peter goes to Algeria to find out the truth about his parents. They really did die as traitors to their country, if they did or not. This guy, the Finisher, aka Carl Fiers, was sent after Spider-Man when he arrived and learned the truth about the Parkers. Finisher launched 2 missiles from his limo, but Spider-Man redirected them back at him and he died in the blast. This issue was his first appearance and death. Decades later, a novel series, the Sinister Six trilogy, written by Adam Troy Castro, came out in 1999, 2001, and 2002, and it introduced a character named the Gentleman and his mysterious bodyguard, a girl close to Peter's age named Pity. The Gentleman is the biggest narcissist of all time, believing almost all of humanity is beneath him, even if they have powers. In the past, he almost killed Wolverine until Peter Parker's parents saved Logan, since Richard and Mary Parker were double agents, and eventually killed and framed the betrayers by the Red Skull. Fiers learned that Peter Parker became Spider-Man and kept his identity secret, even killing the people who brought him the information. He also got a ward named Pity, the daughter of one of his old enemies, who has super strength, speed, and a psychically induced darkness. She is brainwashed to do anything the Gentleman tells her to do, but she still despises him. Anyway, after his brother was killed, his brother being the Finisher, partly thanks to Spider-Man, he enlists revenge and bids his time years and years until he has a perfect plan to beat him. In the first book, that's called The Gathering of the Sinister Six, the Chameleon goes to other Spider-Man villains, breaking Electro and Dr. Octopus out of prison and recruiting Vulture at his apartment. Mysterio gets arrested at the end of the book, only for the Chameleon to be the officer to pick him up and bring him to a safe house, all the wait for the Gentleman to tell him his plan. So the Sinister Six, led by the Gentleman, is Dr. Octopus, Chameleon, Electro, Mysterio, Vulture, and his ward, Pity. Their plan is to attack Spider-Man throughout a day called the Day of Terror, where they make Spider-Man relive all his past failures, like the deaths of George and Gwen Stacy, and the retired football player from Amazing Spider-Man 153, with it all concluding that night in a big battle in the Daily Bugle. Now let's talk about another forgotten rogue in this story, the girl named Pity. She has the speed and strength almost as good as Spider-Man and even some sort of spider sense to avoid attacks. There is also some weird sadness Spider-Man feels when finding her, when she creates her pure darkness around her and emits negative emotions to her opponents. In the epilogue of the second story, Revenge of the Sinister Six, there's a cliffhanger where Peter and Mary Jane find an old picture where Peter as a baby with a baby girl, his long-lost sister apparently, who is teased to be Pity. It seems like the Gentleman didn't get Peter Parker when he was a kid before he killed Richard and Mary. Later, the Six see the way the Gentleman abuses Pity, and then this sets off Electro since he has a crush on her, and Vulture because he is a little sad for her. But the Gentleman threatens them all, especially the Chameleon, for them to all go back to working for him. Well, when it all goes to poop, Dr. Octopus gets mad that some old dude has come in and started ordering them all around, so he tries to kill a Gentleman. Spider-Man saves the Gentleman, but huge plot twist, the Gentleman on the plane with Ock and Spidey is really the Chameleon. Back at the airport hangar, the Chameleon shot down the Gentleman in cold blood and he died silently in the cold. No big battle or ceremony, literally a way no one will know or miss him until at least a week later. Ironic. Especially since here he is in the real world in the 100th Forgotten Spider-Man Rogue episode. Also, it's revealed that the pictures of Peter Parker with a long-lost sister were actually faked and had the Gentleman hired a spy to put them in Peter Parker's house. The Gentleman was then portrayed a few years later, well actually a lot of years later, by actor Michael Massey in the Amazing Spider-Man 2012 and 2014 movies. At the end of the first movie, he visits Kurt Connors in prison asking if he told Peter Parker the truth about his parents, and at the end of the second movie, he visits Harry Osborn and starts putting together the Sinister Six, known members being Green Goblin, Rhino, Vulture, and Doc Ock. It's implied that the man, in the beginning of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 film, who attempts to murder Peter's parents, Richard and Mary Parker, was in fact the Gentleman's brother, Carl Fiers, at the behest of Norman Osborn. And after all that, Later, the gentleman reappears as an accomplice of the Kingpin during Civil War II. It was revealed that he had survived. Following S.H.I.E.L.D.'s announcement that Fisk had been killed, the gentleman resolved to follow his protege. Yeah, I wish our gentleman never returned, because this was all he returned for, just a glorified one-issue appearance. And that did it. That was the 100th Forgotten Spiderman Rogue, the gentleman. There's a lot more to go. I'm sure there's over 50 more to talk about. In fact, on Halloween this Tuesday, I'm making a quick slideshow MV on my second channel as an FSR tribute. Thank you for watching all the videos. I really hope you enjoyed. And of course, I always like seeing comments down below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.